It's just I think what's so crazy to me is because like again like I kind of coming back to the Kahanism. It's like this is like if a guy is in like the Nazi party of Germany and comes over here and is like, yeah, like I love the mayor, like we're gonna bring nightlife back to New York City, and like still sort of like, and it's like it's almost 1-to-1 because like there's this sort of cult of violence around this group that is like inseparable from what Kahanists believe. I mean, his big book is They Must Go, and I've read part of it, and it's pretty explicit in like what it aims for, which is just like ethnic cleansing and who gives a fuck about the casualties there. But
there's also kind of like explicit, we don't care about American ideals, which is kind of a crazy thing. And like, I mean, would we tolerate that if it was another foreign country? Like,
no, absolutely
it's just kind of crazy, right? Like if these things are in conflict now, where if being pro constitutional rights or civil liberties is now in conflict with your aims, like, is it problematic that you're this enmeshed in congressional level American politics?
It's crazy.
And federal level.
Yeah.
I mean, because, but like,
now, yeah. So that's the other thing with Betar, right? That they've taken up credit for supplying student names to Trump administration, the students who were being, jailed. And a lot of people, when this happened, I was kind of pointing out that, these people, some of the people who were arrested were, Betar had been the first to name them months ago. And they were like, oh, Betar is just taking credit. They're just kooks. They don't have a line into anyone in the Trump administration. They're just taking credit, blowing themselves up. And I was like, I don't think so, because they actually do. And so I was kind of curious who their connection was. How are they, because when you read the reporting about this stuff, it's happening above like State Department level.
Yes.
So Ramizo Ozturk, they were prepared a memo saying, no, we couldn't find any links to terror. And so it's happening above like agency level. It's really going like over the top. Like someone is really just like handing these names to Marco Rubio, it seems like.
Yeah.
And there's been reporting that, so I don't know how much you know about Canary Mission, and who there's like a foundation in Israel.
We've covered them a bit on the show because we did some episodes about the lobby, like that documentary, but it's been a really long time.
Yeah. Well, so there's been really good reporting. There was a reporter for The Forward. They did a lot of work. This is years ago when Canary Mission was first kind of naming people who had trouble at the border in Israel, and that was when they were in the news, it was 2018, 2019. But these reporters were able to track down a nonprofit that was running Canary Mission in Israel and find some of the people and talk to them and go there. And they went there, and there were people that were connected to settler movement. They were connected to Ron Tarosian too. There's crossover there.
How so?
I'll explain. Well, just that they were part of some of the same settler groups and nonprofits.
Yeah, okay, because Tarosian went over there in I think the 90s to be part of like the Jerusalem settlement movement.
Yeah, and there's Aisha Torah. They were like the Canary Mission guys were there. Ron was there. Some of these other groups like Honest Reporting that did this early kind of. But anyway, one of the guys on the board that ran Canary Mission always talked about his good friendship with Stephen Miller. And again, people didn't know if how he was bluffing, but I've also found out that Betar goes right to Stephen Miller. So this would explain how these names because they're very random names. Why these students?
Right. Why one person who signed an op-ed with 4 people that was said basically
and
nothing.
The only thing we find is that they were targeted and named by Betar and Canary Mission for many months before they were arrested.
Right.
And Betar and Canary Mission both, there's evidence and reporting that they go right to Stephen Miller and maybe others. So that's kind of crazy. But
Jeffrey Epstein.